Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Bible study about Joseph's life. This will be the last one. I entitled this that you guys know what's is going to be Death of Jacob and Joseph. And this is all in Genesis 50. Recap from the previous one. It was that Jacob blessed first his grandchildren, Joseph's children, Manasseh, Ephraim. Then he blessed his children, which makes a tribe of Israel, all 12, including Joseph. And now he knows it's the time to um, die. And the last verse say that he was added to his ancestors, he passed away. Now it's going to be like, what is going to be after that? What's next? Let's dive in. First verse, we are in Genesis 50. Joseph threw himself on his father and wept over him and kissed him. Then Joseph directed the physicians in his service to embalm his father Israel, which is Jacob. So Jacob died, and as it was revealed to Jacob when he came to Egypt that Joseph is going to close his eyes. Joseph's going to be by his side when he's going to die. So as soon as he finished blessing everybody, Jacob died. Now Joseph is in charge. He's taking care of everything else. So the physician embalmed him, taking a full 40 days. For that was the time required for embalming, and the Egyptian mourned for him 70 days. When the days of mourning had passed, Joseph said to Pharaoh's court, "If I found favor in your eyes, speak to Pharaoh for me. Tell him, my father made me swear an oath and say, I am about to die, bury me in the tomb I dug for myself in the land of Canaan. Now let me go up and bury my father, then I will return." Pharaoh said, "Go up and bury your father, and he made as he made you swear to do." So he got permission from Pharaoh. He said what he said. Let's go back in verse 4. When the days of mourning had passed, which will be a long days, Joseph said to Pharaoh's court. So it's not addressing specific to Pharaoh, it's his court, like by law, to be released temporary to bury his father. It's by, I know you don't have to go to the courthouse to ask permission. You go to your boss, or you go to like human resources if that's the case. You have to go through, to get that approved. You do not just take off from your job and duty and take off. So he want to make sure that he does it in legal way, and that way the word to Pharaoh went in legal way. That's why it says Pharaoh's court. Not like a necessary courthouse, but where Pharaoh did all these transactions and law and all that. Alrighty, so Pharaoh approved for Joseph to go and bury his father. So verse 7, so Joseph went up to bury his father. All Pharaoh's officials accompanied him. Wow. Imagine the dignitaries of his court and all the dignitaries of Egypt, besides all the members of Joseph's household and his brothers and those belonging to his father's household. Wow. Only their children and their flocks and herds were left in Goshen. Chariots and horsemen also went up with him. It was a very large company. Jacob has been blessed by God tremendously, even on the time when his burial is like he gathered lots of people, including the Egyptian with his family. Wow. Verse 10, when they reached the threshing floor of Atad, near the Jordan, they lamented loudly and bitterly, and there Joseph observed a 7-day period of mourning for his father. He did exactly how was asked in his culture, I would say. And there was a time like he is like observed, and they were mourning, they were crying. It was says like lamented loudly and bitterly. Everybody knew who Jacob was, that he was a nice man. He was doing just God's will. He helped even in at that age when he came to Egypt. He helped everybody. He did the right thing. Um, he's been the man of God, and he was so loved. Like people, even Egyptian, cry after him. When the Canaanites who lived there saw the mourning at the threshing floor of Atad, they say, the Egyptians are holding a solemn ceremony of mourning. They didn't even think it was Jacob. Probably they knew who, will be, who they knew Jacob, even after so many years, but they saw Egyptian coming there with all Egyptian, like I put a picture there, with all Egyptian like caravans kind of type, and crying there. They were saying that the Egyptians are holding a solemn ceremony of mourning. That is why the place near the Jordan is called Abel Mizraim. They identify it. So he had a barrier and barrier. Am I saying right? And all this funeral, just like a king, and not just people from their own heart. They cry for Jacob. Wow. Verse 12. I know the picture looks more like when Jesus was, like there's but it probably was much bigger because Joseph of Arimathea that gave his, I would say the tomb for burial. He was a very rich man, so it may probably in that time may look more expensive and more like high, you know, because he paid probably much money, more money for it. But I put out like there was when they excavated and all that, they found that, so I put it there as a picture, just to see like how could look in that time. Verse 12. So Jacob's sons did as he had commanded them. They carried him to the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave in the field of Machpelah near Mamre, which Abraham had brought along with the field of the burial place from Ephron the Hittite. After burying his father, Joseph returned to Egypt, together with his brothers and all the others who had gone with him to bury his father. They buried him that whenever he wanted to be buried, and they came back to Egypt, all of them. I know it looks like it has grass on the top, but I said that was, it might be in this time, but not in the time they were still in famine. Probably, maybe not. No, because he had lived 17 years after that. No, it was not, because 7 years were famine, so we're gone. But they had they have lots of good land, and they multiplying the land, and they were blessed with so many children. Joseph reassures his brothers. Alrighty, now they came back to Egypt, and of course their brother go back to in the land of Goshen where Jacob was living as well. Verse 15. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said, what if Joseph holds a grudge against us and pays us back for all the wrongs we did to him? I know they don't know just Joseph as Jacob knew him. They didn't know him. Joseph was nothing like they thought he would be. Even though they did lots of things against Joseph, he forgave him and moved on. But the brothers still were terrified because they were under the protection of Jacob, their father, and as their fathers lived, they were safe. But now their father is not anymore, so now they were scared. Verse 16, so they sent word to Joseph, saying, your father, which is their father as well, but anyway, because they try to say that they are like step brothers, okay? Your father left these instructions before he died. This is what you are to say to Joseph. I ask you to forgive your brothers the sins and the wrongs they committed in treating you so badly. Now please forgive the sins of the servants of the God of your father. When their message came to him, Joseph wept. I'm not sure if it was for sure it was the truth, because remember that Joseph, he couldn't trust his brothers since he was a young boy. They said they were doing wrong things, and he saw it and told his father. That's why they were hating him as well, for that reason as well. So he knew they were doing wrong things, and it could be just a lie, but Joseph thought like, that's why he wept. You don't know who I am. You still don't know who I am. Verse 18, his brothers, they came and threw themselves down before him. We are your slaves, they say. But Joseph said to them, don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done. It's over, right? He didn't say that, but like it's being done. The saving of many lives. So he fulfilled what God had for him. Why he should have, go against his brother now, when God used him in such a, I would say, miracle way, and such a great way, I would say. Verse 21, so then don't be afraid, I will provide for you and your children. And he reassured them and spoke kindly to them. Especially now his father died. He has nobody else, just his family. And this were family. The brothers were his family. I say, except Benjamin, everybody, the other ones, they were like, the other 10 were like stepbrothers. And for sure, he had sisters as well, but they are not mentioned in this passage here. They're like always focusing on the male, because it was in the culture. They go further on, carry the name. All right, let's keep going. I like even the behind the, I would say it was like Joseph. Behind there have all kinds of things behind his back there, drawing. The death of Joseph. Verse 22. Joseph stayed in Egypt along with all his father's family. He lived 110 years. His father Jacob lived more. He has 137, I believe, or 38. And so the third generation of Ephraim's children. Wow. Which he was the youngest one. He saw the third generation of Ephraim's children. Also the children of Machir, son of Manasseh, were placed at birth on Joseph's knees. That was good. So he got to live a long life, even though much shorter than Jacob. But he had good that he could see the third generation of the youngest one. And he saw they even like to place the birth of the other ones on his knees. Then Joseph said to his brothers, I am about to die. So he knew. Interesting how he knew. God talked to him for sure in a dream, or like I'm going to talk to Jacob, that is going to be added to his ancestors. But God will surely come to your aid and take you up out of this land to the land he promised on oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now he goes back to his ancestors, what it was promised, so he knows what it was promised to his grand parents. Whenever it was promised by God, he knew it is going to come to pass. And he knew that while they are living in Egypt, this is not their final destination. They're going to be coming out from Egypt back to Canaan, where God is going to bless them as well. So, and he said, verse 25, and Joseph made the Israelites swear an oath and said, God will surely come to your aid, and then you must carry my bones up from this place. So he wants, when they're going to be coming out from Egypt, it was going to be a time, they want them to promise that their bones will be carried away. Yes, he had a good life, he's been good, he was blessed, but he did not want his bones to remain in Egypt. Egypt was not a place that you really want to, I say is in his culture, in his tradition, to gather the bones of ancestors in one place. But what I try to say here, Egypt was not a place that you really want to stay forever. They had lots of gods, and now they were like nice to them because of Joseph, but he saw what is going to come. God showed him probably in the dreams what is going to come. But now he knew, because he promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, his father, his grandfather, and his great-grandfather, and he knew that God is going to do it no matter what. He's going to move them out from Egypt. So he wants his bone to be with his family. Whenever they go in Canaan, back there home, he wants his bones to be carried back there. So Joseph died at the age of 110, and after they embalmed him, he was placed in a coffin in Egypt, probably in one of the pyramids there. But it doesn't mention, the Bible doesn't mention he was placed there until the time came. But they will see, like if you read further on in the Bible, the bones are carrying out from Egypt, carrying back to Canaan, which is Israel right now. So, wow, with this we conclude our Joseph's life Bible study. And what we are going to take from this specific one, this, I would say that blessing over children, we said last time, but is when they're coming, then they knew that was the time to tell your wishes. I would say that he was blessed his children. God gave him, because he blessed his father, like Joseph blessed his father Isaac, and God got him out from where he was to have a better life. God blessed him tremendously. If you bless your parents, God will bless you back. If you, it's in the Bible, yes, God will give you an abundance of life. And if you do good to your, now just say like his brothers, there's another teaching there as well to take with us. He did not come against them like, okay, now my father is gone, let me go now and be bad on my stepbrothers for what they did. Now payback time. He could do it when it was that time, but now, like, what? You guys, you don't even know who I am. I may look like Pharaoh, but we have the same blood pours inside. The blood of Jacob pours into them and into Joseph. You don't even know who I am. He was pretty much surprised that even though he cried, he wept, that the brothers, they thought he's going to go against them and where they will go. So So that's another thing to take with us. Even though somebody did bad to you and things turns around and you do get a chance to hurt them, don't. Instead, bless them, help them, as Joseph did, and look at his descendants after him. He saw even the third generation of the youngest one. He was blessed with long life, with everything that he wanted, he had. And you will be blessed as well. Just do not take grudge of anything, and I would say bless people, and you'll be blessed in return. The end. So I hope you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed. Life of Joseph tells us lots of stories and lots of things we can learn from his life. And next time I try to bring something fresh. Is going to be Jewish holidays, high holidays in the fall. And we are going to go through something else. And I barely wait. Till next time, I say goodbye. Goodbye now.